We're gonna be starting out with the 7 curve mag. This time we're using this 12 gauge standard needle. 12 gauge standard needle. We always run it at 7 using a 4-stroke machine. We always running this machine at 7 volts most of the time for our line work. All right, y'all. So we about to talk about these lines on the neck. And the neck is one of the tough spots to tattoo. It's a tight area, so that's why I believe it's one of the tough spots to tattoo. But we always start at that bottom. And how you get straight lines, practice that angle before you even tattoo it. Practice the motion. And once you know you got it, you can just come down and go with that full range of motion. You kind of come right back up. I know a lot of people focus on a 1 round, I'm gonna say the 1 pass lines. No, you got at least 2 passes. So run your machine slow enough to where you could get 2 passes. You run it fast trying to worry about 1 line being super straight. With that 1 pass, you're gonna wind up coming off track, and boom, you ain't got a straight line no more. And we do that throughout the rest of the tattoo. Since we had to stop there, we're gonna practice that motion there. And we're gonna just bring it over and connect. That's it. And you do that throughout the whole tattoo. That curve, and you start up there, bring it down. But we stay within our circle. Don't try to stretch your wrist or stretch your own, because you're gonna wind up coming off track. That's why I'm doing small bits, readjust my hand, do another small bit, readjust my hand. You don't want to just try to stretch a whole line, and next thing you know, you've been unstable, and boom, you got a crooked line. The same process.
Joining the live your follow will be appreciated.
You already know the motion. Even if you can't go back this direction, just start back over and come back down. Most times I catch myself going back and forward. But if you can't, just start back over and go over it. And like I said, this is the neck. This is one of the toughest areas to tattoo. So practice on more of like a flat surface. The arms, chest, stuff like that. If you have somebody to tattoo, if not, then practice on your fake skin. Doing these same techniques, practice them lines, and then you pull that line. You practice the line, then you pull that line. Like I say, it ain't no rush to get the whole thing done.
Yeah, that's what happens to me. I be trying to do a long line and it comes out crooked.
Yep, don't worry about doing a long line. Patience. The only time we doing a long line is if we feel we got the range of motion. But right now on the neck, I'm not trying to get the range of motion. You're already working in the tight spot. If this was somewhere else, I definitely have the range of motion. But tight locations, I'm not worrying about the range. We got small strokes. Like I say, we focus on quality over quantity. You're not trying to be in a rush to get it done. Don't focus on super long lines. You only do your super long lines once you get comfortable and you're ready to pull off the super long lines. What are we trying to get straight lines? We're not worrying about the long ones. We're worrying about short strokes that don't keep us straight. You're already stretching yourself thin if you're trying to worry about a long line. We focus on straight lines. We're not focusing on a long line.
Have you on what line?
In some lines, I definitely just do a little bit bolder. But if you feel you need to make some bolder, just sculpt it out. You're just making a line next to a line. The lines that I'm doing thin, I just basically hit it with a quick swipe. Quick swipe. That's the lines I definitely would kind of make one pass for sure. Because I know for sure I don't want them lines bold. Because you see on the outside of the bag, I'm giving it a nice thickness. So that's why I'm going over it twice. And that's another thing too, it's all about the angle. Me trying to pull that line like this, I could do it, but it'll be way easier if I readjust my arm and pull that line. So that's another thing about getting straight lines. It's all about the angle you're coming from. Make sure you're at a comfortable angle. Now you're about to go in, hit this money sign. You're gonna go straight through this because it's all black. If it was the open money sign, we wouldn't be going straight through. You're going straight through, pull that curve at the bottom. Nice little swoop. And I made that whole swoop because it's in the range of motion. Nice swoop. Come back, 7 round liner. And you can kind of make lines in the inside, color it in. That's it, ain't no rush to get it done. You know, if you got a cross hatch, go back and forth, whatever. You want to make sure that this inside, solid black. Solid black. And try to dab, try not to wipe as much until it's time to clean it off. You're going to do that throughout the rest of the tattoo. The curves is like, it's a lot easier versus making a super long straight line down. That curve is within our circle. So we can knock that out, no problem. And like I said, we come back, fill it in. You can go at it with like you're just making regular lines in it. Or another way you could go at it is the small circles and something like that. Because you know it's solid black, you're not going for no softness, you're not looking for nothing realistic. You're looking for a solid dollar sign. So whichever approach you take to get there, you can use that approach. Not a certain way of doing it. Solid black. For those that don't know why we use A&D ointment, A&D ointment is to help the needle glide on the skin. So tatting on dry skin, sometimes the needle get caught up and it also easier to rip the skin. So just keep that skin lubricated. Keep it lubricated. Like I said, dab, dab, dab. And also for those that don't know, sometimes like you get a neck that need a lot of stretching, and what you do, 2 fingers, third point of contact. 2 fingers, third point of contact, you know? That's simple. But right now we just using the 2 fingers, not really that third point. Because some neck tattoos will definitely require it. Especially like down at the bottom too, on the shoulder you will need to stretch that third point. And that's not on everybody, just some people that really have that excess skin that you really require you to stretch a lot. Alright, so on the neck, the more you move up, you see it's getting tighter and tighter up in this area. But what I mostly go off of is that pinky. You rest your pinky on the neck, and that's what you use as that kickstand to stay stable. As long as the client not moving, you'll be good. But when you get to the clients that's moving and stuff, you just gotta know when to lift your arm up when they move. And try to cause less damage than, you know. Less damage. I don't know the word for it, but yeah. Less damage than necessary though. But some people will jump and they'll jump right onto the needle and that's just gonna try to either give it a little scar. Sometimes it don't do nothing at all, but cause them a little bit more pain. There's something that you'll have to watch for like later on in the career. Probably not even later on because clients move regardless. Some people move on some of the basic spots. So it's about to finish. Go ahead and map out the rest of the dollars. Alright, so actually when I do my courses though, y'all, it's gonna be way more detailed. I have a camera like right here close up, but I know in the stream thing you probably don't really see it. When I get mad, that's how I would definitely do the course though. Perfect angle. Alright, since you got all the outline, you about to look back over anything that probably been hit. Whether it's a dollar sign need a little more black, or it's just a line that we hit that is too light. Make sure all that's clean before we can move on to the shading. Now I normally shade as I go up, but for the example, the tutorial, you basically outline the whole thing and it's a small piece. So it don't really require you to go from the bottom up. You don't have too much time to really get so. The purpose of going from the bottom up is so it could cause the client less pain. But just don't really have too much time to get sore. Make sure you dab it all off, dab it all off. And like I said, since we're gonna use this on full stroke for our shade, I'm gonna turn it down to 5.5 volts. We were tattooing at 6 volts. So this is how we would do basically like a little whip shading. Take that and whip out. Create that shadow. We're gonna do the same thing throughout the whole thing. Remember, I made these lines soft for a reason because I want that to kind of eventually fall into the folds of the bag. Fall into the folds of the bag. All right, y'all, back to the dock. We're about to go back to the bottom of that money bag. Make sure it's a more solid shadow at the bottom. Just like how we got on this side. So that's dark. Pretty much all black, not that line. This one ain't gotta be all black or dark. It's like a little dark medium tone. And there we go. Let's wipe it down. Wipe it down, wipe it down, keep it clean. We go ahead and move the paper towel. I always put the paper towel just so you don't get no ink on the shirt. Something like that. But yep. Fit nicely. So once it heals up, some of it definitely gonna lighten up in the inside of the bag because we want the inside of the bag to look like look soft. Other than that, the dark's gonna hold it together. The lines itself is definitely gonna hold it together. And always look over your work. One thing for sure. Make sure you ain't forgetting nothing. It look like I see a small little line right at the top of the dollar bill on the left side, and we're gonna hit that and we done.